Alright, so this is just with people news. This video is without prejudice or without recourse. Okay, I'm going to stand on the UCC 1-308. All rights reserved. Alrighty, so I'm not an attorney, so if I make any opinions on here, I'm not giving legal advice, so do not take it as such. Why? Because I'm not an attorney. That's why. Alrighty. As usual, y'all, I don't look just straight forward. I always look around me to be able to protect myself by any means necessary, which is what we all should do. This video is hearsay to me, just like all the other videos I make. It's all hearsay. We got to do our own research. You know, attorneys will give legal advice, but it's still hearsay. Why? Because you don't research the laws itself. That's why. When you go in that courtroom, everything is based on hearsay when all these attorneys and judges are all one and the same in the bar union. So, and actually, there had been a Supreme Court saying that attorneys, all it is hearsay. Anyway, this is just going to be where the storm clouds are gathering again. Okay, I'm going to split the videos in two, mainly because of me, but I know how some people out there kind of like it split in short terms also. Anyway, let's go ahead and proceed forward, shall we?
Okay, people were getting hold of me because they need a visual, and I get it. I understand. I too am a visual learner as well. So I will accommodate thee this morning and show you what I'm talking about with the writ of habeas corpus. Alright? Title of the document, we need to know what we're doing, right? And then of course, here's the real party in interest, if you will. Just a man, nothing more, nothing less, alright? Don't have to be a defendant, don't have to be a respondent, don't have to be any of those titles. You can just be the man or the woman, alright? This up here is where your information will go, okay? Your name, address. You know, I don't use the zip code. I'm zip exempt, but this is a template off of Microsoft Word, all right, for the structure of the document anyway, okay? And this is how I create habeas corpus, all right? So then we have versus the wrongdoer, and we're going to list them. If it's deputy sheriff that arrested you and the sheriff is holding you, and now you've got the jailer that's also involved, all of their names go here to the best of your knowledge, okay? So the wrongdoer or wrongdoers will all be right here, okay? And so this is how this habeas, and this is just a generic version of my habeas, all right? I actually have one that's a little bit better than this, but I don't want to release it to the public because it's important for you guys to write your own material, because if you write it, then you know it, and you can speak it from the heart, mind, body, spirit, and soul, and you will know this information to be true, correct, and accurate, okay? So, the cause of action, I man, Gonzalez, Derek Satan. Why Gonzalez first? Gonzalez comes first because the name of the tribe, the name of my people, came before I did, okay? So that's the Gonzalez family, the house of Gonzalez. It's always first. And then I come next, Derek Satan, which is the Christian appellation, okay? Claim a harm by way of trespass, by way of false imprisonment, kidnapping, false arrest, denial of due process, and cruel and unusual punishment. Now, why do I put these things here? Well, the reason that I'm proclaiming this is because this is, in fact, what has happened when I was denied due process of law. Okay, when I was denied the process due to me, it became imprisonment, false arrest, okay, kidnapping, and cruel and unusual punishment. Why? Because every man is presumed and assumed to be innocent until proven guilty, okay? Now, in the admiralty courts, the jurisdiction they're trying to keep you in, you're guilty until you prove you're innocent. That's admiralty, all right? When you're on the ship, when you're in the military, yeah, when they say jump, you don't ask how high, you better just start fucking jumping and hope that you meet or exceed their expectation, all right? So to draw you back into the common law jurisdiction, there's a beautiful word right here, habeas. Now, under the Judicature Act of 1789, they blended equity and admiralty, all right? Because admiralty is very envious of equity. The public side is very envious of the private, all right? And because of that, they mimic the private side. So you have habeas, you have cor warrantos, you have memorandums. All of that came from the common law exclusive jurisdiction of equity. Okay, what should be done shall be done. Because remember, justice delayed is justice denied. All right. So, because the public sector was so envious of equity, and equity disregards the form and rather looks at the structure of the intent and substance versus the structure of the document, we just simply have to let them know what we're doing. And the form really doesn't matter. You can write this on a piece of toilet paper, all right? Please don't use the toilet paper prior to writing it on there. It might be frowned upon. However, it doesn't matter if it's written on a piece of toilet paper. So I'm telling you why I'm doing this part right here. I'm giving it some teeth. I'm letting them know that I know what's going on here, all right? This is where people are being notified that there's damage being caused here, and they better get their poop in a group, their fucking shit wired tight, and keep their head on a swivel, or I will decapitate their ass financially, all right? Whereas my incarceration, all right, and you can use any other word you choose fit, your imprisonment, your arrest, whatever, detainment, is unlawful, all right? It may not be illegal, but it is damn sure unlawful. Okay, in the whatever county, whatever jail, whatever it is that you're at, on allegations of whatever the charges may or may not be, all right, by whoever it is, okay, whoever that man is. You're not going to put by the sheriff. You're not going to put by the chief of police. You're going to put a man's name there, who at times acts like a police officer or a sheriff or a state trooper or whatever it is. Okay, who refuses to bring I before a judge, magistrate, administrator, and persists on informing I that one must comply with fingerprinting, photograph, and providing identification, aka booking procedures. Now, if you guys took the class on warrants, we went over this, all right? And people are saying no sound. You might want to check your sound. Anybody else hear sound? Everybody wired for sound? Can anybody else hear what I'm saying? Looking for a comment. Sound is good. I got a thumbs up. So sound must be on your end. Free hope, free speech. All right. So the reason that we are explaining this part, all right, is to let them know that a denial of due process is being had, and this right here shows their intent was never to take me before a magistrate, okay? And by doing the fingerprinting, photograph, and providing identification, aka booking procedures, I'm going to get in to the case precedent, all right, that proves this, okay? This is stare decisis, well-established res judicata. All right, it applies to all motherfucking courts. Don't give a shit if it's federal, state, or anything else. All right, let us take judicial notice. Now, judicial notices are typically a separate document. All right, but I like to incorporate my judicial notice with the habeas, because I'm telling everybody whose nuts are being put on the chopping block here, because I ain't playing no fucking games. Because freedom isn't free, ladies and gentlemen. All right. And if you don't have this acquired knowledge and you waive your rights, you don't have any fucking rights. All right? Let's take judicial notice. People versus Hearn, 127, miscellaneous report, 141, 215, New York, Superior, 412, 417, 418, 1926. Now people say, oh, the year, Derek, if it's not past 1936 or 1935, then it's not applicable. Bullshit. All right? When these people try to tell you that, you ram this shit right back down their fucking throat. Okay? Because it absolutely is applicable. Compulsory fingerprinting before conviction is an unlawful encroachment of what? My Fourth Amendment protected right. Okay? My rights, period. It's an encroachment against my privacy. The right to be secure in my person's houses and effects. Not to mention my fingerprints and anything else that they want to take. Fingerprints, butt prints, toe prints, fucking photographs. That's an encroachment on your privacy. And I won't stand for it, not for a minute, not for a fucking day, not for a fucking second. All right? And involves prohibited compulsory self-incrimination, which is a violation of the Fifth Amendment. All right? Which doesn't give you any fucking rights, ladies and gentlemen. Pull your heads out of your asses. The Constitution doesn't give you any fucking rights. Your rights came from your Heavenly Father, okay? Your rights superseded any written fucking document that has ever been created, including the Bible. You had these rights long before it was written on parchment or scribed on paper, all right? Pay attention. I'm going to try to teach you something here today.
And I'm going to stop here for a second. I know some of you guys don't like it or not, but also, an argument case, you know, he brought in from our Creator and all that. But also, our Creator says no graven image, right? Past, present, or future. So even if they took a picture of you, that's a graven image. So you can tell them on that document, that's against the religious belief, right? And let's go with all caps name, okay? Some people believe that, you know, the birth certificate, and this, and this. Well, it's all caps name. If there is a straw man, I'm not saying there is or isn't, then the straw man is a graven image, which is against the, well, what we call Bible. So always kind of consider that. When you stick a little salt and pepper of religion in the paperwork, they don't like it, right? They can't deny it, but they absolutely don't like it. Why? Because it calls them out of the wrongdoings they are doing, right? Just saying, I'm thinking outside the box, right? Because I don't never look straight forward. So if we just think outside the box a little bit and quit going by hearsay and actually, you know, gather up researches and kind of go in there and create something that stands as truth. If you're a religious person, it stands as truth, right? Just saying.
Hawkins versus Cahoon, 137, New York, Superior Court, 1090, 153, Appellate Division, 216, 912. This is 1912. All right. Taking pictures before conviction is an illegal act. It's an illegal act. All right. Back in 1912, people go, well, they didn't have cameras. They had cameras back then. Why do you think this case came about? All right. They had cameras in 1912. Now, it's hard to believe, but people had technology back then. Kaminsky versus Durand, 64 RI, 38712, Atlanta, 2D, 652, 655, 1940. To detain the person arrested in custody for any purpose other than that of taking him before a magistrate is illegal. Not only is it illegal, ladies and gentlemen, it is also unfucking lawful. All right? It's not a lawful waffle. We can't have any part of that, and we must be belligerent, because only a belligerent can enforce his rights. When somebody's stealing something from you, are you going to say, hey, please don't do that, please stop? Or are you going to put a boot up their ass and on their neck and say, hey, around these parts, I'll rub your nose in the shit if you shit on my carpet, all right? We don't shit where we sleep. You're not going to take shit from me without asking, right? We rub their nose in it. Okay. Citing One Hill Torts, page 213 through 214, section 9. He will be guilty of false imprisonment no matter how lawful the original arrest may have been if he does what? If he fails to take you before the magistrate. And what do we have to weigh in heavily on that? The fact that that's due process of law. And what do we have to prove that their intent was never to take you before the magistrate? Well, we have People versus Hearn, which clearly shows when they do the booking procedures, all right, it's compulsory and it shows intent that they never intended to bring you before the magistrate. Let's get into the Constitution here. Now, remember this morning, I told you that your state constitution reigns supreme. It's not the federal constitution in the state that matters. It's the state constitution, which is the charter, okay? I, man, invoke the Sixth Amendment, the right secured to I. Notice, it's not a Sixth Amendment right, all right? It's the Sixth Amendment, which protects my right to be, to secure I to face one's accuser. I invoke the Fifth Amendment, all right? One's right to not self-incriminate, which means compulsory photographs, fingerprints, butt prints, or anything else, and be afforded due process of law before being denied life, liberty, or property, period. It's a statement of fact. I invoke the Fourth Amendment. Remember, if you don't invoke your rights, if you're not oral about it, if you don't put it down in writing, if you don't express it in one way or the other, you waive them. Don't be a fool. Don't waive them. I invoke the Fourth Amendment, the right secured to I to be secure in one's person, houses, papers, and effects. Privacy. I invoke the Eighth Amendment, the right secured to I, no bail or bond shall be imposed. I, man, waive all benefits without God. All right? I, man, waive no rights secured to I. Very cut and dry. Couldn't be any fucking simpler. All right? Grounds. I, man, Derek Stone, believe one is being unlawfully incarcerated, detained due to an unverified criminal complaint. Okay? Criminal complaints must be verifiable, which means they must be signed before a notary, which means I should be able to go and take that verifiable complaint to the Secretary of State and have it authenticated. If you can't get it authenticated at the Secretary of State, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is not a verifiable complaint. All right? Brought forth against I by a man operating under an unregistered, false, and fictitious name. Now, I should probably take false out of there. That's an accusation. I can't prove that it's false. Remember, when you're making a statement, the onus of probandi falls back on you. However, it's an unregistered, fictitious name on behalf of a principal corporation whom he is employed by that goes by the name of whatever the name of the corporation that he's working for. What I'm talking about is his false and fictitious unregistered name, which would be D. Gonzalez, if that's who was the arresting agent and agency, and they're using the last name with the first initial. D. Gonzalez must be registered with the Secretary of State for doing business on the side of the freeways, highways, byways, and passages. Okay? It's a must. It's a requirement. Now, I told you about that. So, I told you that the federal Constitution really doesn't hold any weight in your state. So, where are we going to go to make this habeas?
Alrighty, so we're going to pause it here, since he's jumping into another section. Anyway, and this is Diesel We the People News. Bye, y'all.